Welcome back to my channel. I'm Heather and I'm a nutritionist and a GAPS practitioner. And I just want to talk about, this is for the people who are doing the GAPS diet, or maybe you're not, and you are dealing with mental health problems, whether it's anxiety, depression, insomnia, lack of energy, fatigue. If you're dealing with those kind of mental symptoms and that's why you're coming to GAPS, this is for you. Okay, so even if you haven't done the GAPS diet, I'm going to talk about 3 additional books that are game changers for mental health. Okay, so this is like what you have to read the GAPS book if you're dealing with mental health. But I'm assuming most of you already have if you're watching my channel, because it's all about the GAPS diet. But this is written by Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride. It was initially created for her son with autism, but because it heals the brain, it recovers a ton of other things going on. Depression, anxiety, ADD, ADHD, dyspraxia, autism, schizophrenia is on the cover. And it's basically all about healing the gut lining to heal the brain, because the gut lining is mucosal, and sometimes, probably most of the time with most people, it gets little holes in it, it gets permeable, that brush border of the intestinal lining gets irritated and aggravated, and it gets little holes in it, and that's called leaky gut. And then foods start leaking into the bloodstream, which then go to the brain, and they clog up the brain with toxicity. And what happens when that happens? You get a lot of mental health problems. Not only that, a lot of your neurotransmitters are made primarily in the gut. Serotonin is like almost 100% made in your gut. So if your gut is not functioning well, good luck making those amazing neurotransmitters that you need for to be happy and healthy and have stable moods. So you really, really need to read the GAPS book if you have mental health issues, because it is a game changer. Now, the second one, we're going a bit kind of off it's not food related, but it's natural. And it is Switch on Your Brain by Dr. Caroline Leaf. So if you're doing GAPS, or you're working really hard with your nutrition to sort out your mental health issues, this is like something you need to be aware of, is the mental health, the mindfulness, how you think, what you believe, what you're speaking out about yourself, how important that is to overcoming disease, whether it's physical or mental. So she's awesome, Dr. Caroline Leaf. She's a Christian. A lot of her stuff was founded from her reading the Bible and then bringing it to science. And it's basically, the premise of it is that our brain is not just this hard object that's either broken or doesn't make enough neurotransmitters. We're not subject to our brain. We're actually in control of our brain. And our brain is neuroplastic, which means it can grow and it can change. And our mind, which is like our inner spirit being and how we think and how we believe, actually changes the physical structure of our brain. So if you're depressed and you have a serotonin deficiency, I'm not saying you don't, but I'm saying your mindset affects how your brain, the structural change of it. It creates your neurons and how they are created and how they're broken down. And she just goes through so much, and I love it because, one of the verses she uses, as a man believes in his heart, so he is, or there's just so many good things in there, and I think it's awesome. I read it and I was very convicted. And she has a 21-day challenge at the end, about basically how to retrain your brain. If you're thinking things all the time, even just basic stuff this is so hard, life is so hard, life is so hard. It's you need to retrain your brain. You need to change your mental health. And yeah, it's just so good, so good. Just believe me, I'm not doing justice explaining it, because I can't. But it's so good. And so I would just recommend everyone read this. Dr. Caroline Leaf, Switch on Your Brain. She has a lot of really good talks on YouTube, so if you want to listen to some of those and hear if it's right for you, that's a great one. And then the third one I have it on my Kindle, and then I have my book Back in America, is by Julia Ross, and it's called The Mood Cure. And so that is basically about how our neurotransmitters in our brain are made, and it goes into specific nutrition for mental health. So it goes into amino acid supplementation. So if you're really fatigued, you need an excess in catecholamines, which you probably don't have. So that would be L-tyrosine, I think, is the amino acid that helps to produce thyroid hormones and things that basically create energy in your body. Or if you're really low in serotonin because you're depressed, or I don't know, let's just say you're really low in serotonin, you have really low moods, you're not motivated. The amino acid you need is 5-HTP, which converts to tryptophan, which converts to serotonin and then melatonin. And it's like everything she goes through is just so good. And she has I think a few clinics and rehabilitation centers, because a lot of people that are addicted to drugs have those neurotransmitter imbalances. And so she uses food and amino acid therapy in order to stimulate the brain to create its own neurotransmitters. So if you're depleted in serotonin and you're depressed and you go to a doctor, they would probably prescribe a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. Sorry, I'm talking a little fast and getting tongue-tied. But SSRIs basically give your brain that serotonin. But what the amino acid therapy does through the supplements is it trains your brain to, well, it basically gives your brain what it needs to make its own. And then your brain starts making its own more efficiently and effectively. And it's really cool. I've definitely used it on some GAPS clients, quite a few, and it's awesome, especially for sleep, for energy. It's great. So if you're in that boat, you got to read The Mood Cure by Julia Ross. I'll put a link for all these below. And she really goes into diet as well. And she even has a questionnaire on there you can go through, and she asks you all your moods, and then, you know, you check off, and then it kind of tells you what neurotransmitters you might be depleted in and how to boost them through those amino acids. I always recommend people read that book if they have mental health problems. And then the final one is similar to the Julia Ross book. It's Healing Nutrients Within. It's a little bit older, and it goes really into a lot of detail. Similar to the Julia Ross book, it's all about amino acid therapy, but yeah, it just goes into a lot more. It's written differently, and it goes into a lot more of the specifics of amino acids and which ones you need and supplements, and, you know, and it's all of these nutrition books, Julia Ross, The Healing Nutrients Within, they're all so pro-GAPS, you know, it's fat, it's protein, it's cholesterol, these are the things your brain needs. And then just sometimes on top of it, while you're healing the gut, while you're getting that good nutrition, you just need those supplements to really help with the mental health stuff initially. So yeah, those are the 3 books, other than 3 books and the GAPS book. So I guess it's 4 books, but if you're dealing with mental health problems, please look into those. And especially if you're already doing the GAPS diet, you've got to look into Dr. Caroline Leaf and Switch on Your Brain, because it's just, she really mixes science with how to do it practically and how to train your mind, and taking your thoughts captive, and like really that how we want our life to go basically is our mind is capable of making it go that way, and we are not subjects, we are not a victim to like our brain structure, but we actually create our brain. So cool. I love it all, and I hope that helps you.